What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm literally going to be giving you a look over my shoulder as I write emails for my $3,000 and $4,000 a month copywriting client. And if you stick around to the end, I'll be hooking you up with some free copywriting email templates and proven structures that you can use to create your next piece of email copy. So before we get into actually writing the copy itself, it's important that you guys understand that making a good piece of copy that you can sell to clients that are going to pay you $3,000 to $4,000 every single month all starts before you actually begin writing. Guys, a big misconception that a lot of beginners have is that what you're supposed to do is just sit there, look at a document, a blank Word document, and just start writing. But guys, that's actually not true. What we're gonna need to do is complete some research and get clear on some things like our target audience and what the goal of the email is actually going to be. If you guys are new to copy or you're just starting out in your copywriting journey and you don't have many clients yet, I'm gonna hit you with a value bomb real quick. And that is that copywriting isn't really written as the name might suggest. It's more of assembled, more of synthesized. It basically just consists of a few key points of information that are tailored to your audience that we can use to start building out our emails. So today, I'll be showing you how I would write copy for a dating coach called Based Zeus. Now, this person isn't actually my client per se, but it's someone who's kind of in a similar position as some of the clients that I've worked with in the past, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how I would write copy for them. So if we hop into the document here, I have a few questions that I've answered for myself, like what is the target audience? So this target audience is basically the demographic is going to be men aged 18 to 30. And then what are some of their behaviors? This basically means what are some of the things that they struggle with or some of the things that they do on a daily basis. So we see here we have wishing they could approach girls, spending time on dating apps with no success, gets with the wrong girls or not the quality that they want, they possess self-limiting beliefs, they consume red pill dating advice, and they are in pain after a recent breakup. Guys, so this is all stuff that I got from the channel of Based Zeus and from some of the emails that they already put out. All of the things that you need to answer are pretty much already inside of your client's content. Okay, so your client is most likely going to be posting some sort of content or already have some emails drafted up or already have some YouTube videos or some Instagram reels, and those are all things that you can take from. Next up, we have the desires and fears. So what do they want and what are they trying to avoid? And the thing with desires and fears is that they're ultimately the same thing, right? They're the same thing, but just different sides of the coin. So they want to be attractive to women instead of turning them off. They want to have charisma instead of being seen as creepy. They want to be popular with girls, they want 5 days per week, they want a 10 out of 10 girlfriend. Again, this is all things that I've gathered from the Instagram posts, YouTube content, and emails that have already been sent out by this channel. What are some commonalities between what's already written? This is going to give you a good identifier of brand voice. So this is basically us getting very clear on who we're writing to, and this is getting us very clear on what the actual specific person we're writing from. So what kind of language do they use? So they say like 5 dates per week. They say an example that I hear them use all the time is even short Indian guys can get dates, getting hundreds of matches on Tinder. Listicle, so that's just kind of like an observation. Listicle essentially means that they give a lot of listed value. So point number one, this way you can get more matches on Tinder. A second way you can get matches on Tinder, and a third way to get matches on Tinder. Don't worry, we'll get more into that as we go. And then also a way that they like to build authority is by saying, I've helped hundreds of men turn their dating lives around. So here are some angles that I came up with. I'm going to give a short explanation on all of these angles after I'm finished with them. Some of the angles that I came up with just off the top of my head are the ugly guy dating advantage, why short guys get more matches on Tinder, 6 words that got me 100 Tinder matches, how to turn fear of girls into fun, 3 steps to meeting up with 9s and 10s, how to attract girls by ignoring them, why your Riz is trash, and the caveman method to getting 5 dates per week. So why did these angles actually work? So for a lot of these, I'm using non-conventional opinion to capture the reader's attention. You'll see this used a lot with things like TikTok and Instagram Reels. So I don't know if you've ever seen these types of Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, but they basically start off with just saying something completely crazy and off the wall to actually get your attention, to get you to start listening to what they're about to say. So why does that actually work so well? Well, imagine that you're in a crowded restaurant and you overhear a conversation that someone says the most ridiculous claim like the earth is flat or gravity doesn't exist or, you know, my brother's an alien, or it's just something absolutely off the wall crazy. You're probably going to disagree with that person and be just bewildered with them, but you might want to hear what the reasoning is just because of how ridiculous their claim is. And that's essentially what we have have here. The other thing that these angles do is also use people's curiosity to get their interest. So take Elon Musk's famous first tweets about buying Twitter, for example. Instead of coming right out and saying it, he teased it to make you wonder. So this was all the way back in 2017. As you can see, he says, I love Twitter. How much is it? That's all he says. I love Twitter. How much is it? Now, notice what he didn't say. What he didn't say is, I'm going to try to buy Twitter, because that takes all the curiosity out of it. Everybody knows exactly what he means when he says that. But when he says something like, I love Twitter, how much is it? It infers the information, but doesn't necessarily give it, okay? This is a slight thing that you can use in your copy. And this is the same principle that we're using when we try to get people curious about what we're going to say. So we don't give it all away. We just kind of infer something. Now, this is crucial to actually keep your reader guessing and not give them enough information to think that they know exactly where it is going. What you don't want to do is give away all of your information and make your subject line or angle boring and predictable. For example, don't make your subject line something like how to get big biceps with curls. Then write about how you should do 4 sets of curls for 12 reps. That is painfully boring. A huge problem that I see copywriters do is they make their subject line essentially a title. Here are 3 things you can do to be more attractive to women. I mean, that is going to be okay and all right, but you could just make it so much better if you added some sort of curiosity-based element in the whole subject line. This is the recipe for making your writing intriguing and to ignite their interest. So guys, now that we've picked the angle that we're going to write about, which is the caveman method to getting 5 dates a week, it's time that I get really clear in my head on what exactly I'm going to say. Also, a disclaimer is that all these steps take place in my head because I've literally written thousands of pieces of copy already. But since you're just first starting out, or if you're just beginning your copywriting journey, or you're working on getting better, I do suggest actually writing this all down in the document before you start creating and drafting up your copy. Now I want to go through and just kind of summarize what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is a very, very powerful part of your copy, because a lot of the times people just start writing copy and they put in a bunch of lines that they like, and then they just have a thing. They just have a thing. They don't even know what they're trying to say. So what am I essentially trying to say? What is the point, and why should they care? So the caveman method is basically you just doing the very first thing that comes to mind. This is the easiest way to improve your game, because you'll be eliminating the #1 game killer, which is overthinking and getting nervous. When you essentially underthink as much as a caveman, you'll be more natural and witty. You'll say the wrong thing sometimes, but as long as you play it off, you'll have plenty more chances to say the right things. This is how you get more dates with higher quality women. But none of that matters if you can't get on dates in the first place. If you're not going on at least 3 to 5 dates a week with high quality women, then there's something about your online profiles that desperately needs fixing. Find out what that is. Click below to schedule a call with my team so we can help you attract model quality women that you've been missing out on. Basically, if you're not aware, this CTA will go to a call link, and they'll go and book a call, and then they'll go and do a quiz to see if they are qualified or not to actually be in this dating program. Basically, this is a dating coach, and he'll charge you a couple of $1,000 to guarantee that he gets you 5 dates a week, or whatever their guarantee is. So here is the actual subject line that I created for Base to Zeus. Subject line is the caveman method to getting 5 dates a week. It's a little bit lengthy. Maybe there's a way that I can shorten it, but I just think that as it is, it might cut off a week, but still the caveman method to getting 5 dates is a fine subject line as it is. Hey, first name, have you ever been talking to a girl in person and been consumed by the thought, shoot, I don't know what to say? Well, I hate to break it to you, but girls can smell the odor of anxiety on you. And it's the #1 thing that turns them off instantly. So I'm going to share with you the #1 way to overcome the age-old question of, what do I do when I don't know what to say? The answer is a lot simpler than you think, because the main problem is that you think that there is a right thing to say, when in reality, you just saying literally the first thing that comes to mind is usually the best thing to say. You ever wonder why usually the ladies' men aren't the sharpest knives in the drawer? It's because they just have to say what's on their mind. Even if it isn't the right thing, this not only completely frees them from anxiety, but also makes them 10 times more attractive to girls. This is exactly what I call the caveman method. Turn your brain off and you'll instantly perform better. But none of that matters if you can't get on dates in the first place. If you're not going on at least 3 to 5 dates a week with high quality women, then there's something about your online profile that desperately needs fixing. To find out what it is, click below to schedule a call with my team so we can help you attract model quality women that you've been missing out on. See you on the next one, Based Zeus. So that is what my email would look like. The goal of this email, of course, like I said, is to get them to book a call. So we're going to go through here, not exactly line by line, but I have some comments here that I have made that I kind of want to go over with you. So in the beginning, right, there are certain different ways that you can start an email. This email, I started with a qualifying question, which is a specific question saying, hey, if you're in X situation, then this is the reason, or this is the way to actually get out of that situation if you don't want to be in it. So what I say is, have you ever been talking to a girl and been consumed by the thought, shoot, I don't know what to say? Now, the target audience, it's very likely that they are going to be in this position. So they are going to feel like you are talking directly to them. The answer is a lot simpler than you think. So why do I say this? When I say the answer is a lot simpler than you think, essentially it makes them feel like the very next line is going to be the answer. Like I'm about to reveal the answer right now. But it's really the justification behind the answer that I'm going to give. So before I say the answer is a lot simpler than you think, to make them think that I'm about to give them the answer. But instead, I give them the reason behind the answer first. And when I do this, I basically encapsulate their attention before I give them the 1 to 2 word reveal of what the answer actually is. This essentially is called open loop in copywriting. Open loop is making them want something, want a piece of information, but not giving it to them, and giving them a little bit of justification or a little bit of information or context before you give them the answer that they're looking for. And then down here, I add to the justification by saying, you ever wonder why usually the ladies' men aren't the sharpest knives in the drawer? So this basically is relatable justification that doesn't require the reader to take my word for it. One huge problem that I see a lot of copywriters make is that they just don't cite their sources. They get on an email and they just try to give advice without actually giving them reasons as to why the advice makes sense. I might be giving you a really good piece of advice, but you're gonna have objections pop in your head, like, who's this guy? What if he's just, talking nonsense to me? So a way that we can mitigate that and essentially handle their objections is to give them actual tangible reasons as to why we are right. And we can do this in a couple of different ways. In this email, I do it by giving them a very relatable example. You ever have those moments where, you see a ladies' man and he's just saying the most random weird stuff, but they're still giggling and playing it off and the girl's just loving it? Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about here, right? A lot of people will identify with that, and then they won't have to actually trust me to understand what I'm saying. And then I tell them exactly why it actually works and what the caveman method is. So then this is the big reveal. And then I tell them that's how you'll instantly perform better. So this is the part where they actually get value. Okay, this is the part where I've shifted their beliefs and I've given them value, and they're like, oh, okay, that's awesome. And I got value in this email. That's why I opened it. But then I open up another loop. Remember what loops is, an open loop. But none of that matters if you can't get on dates in the first place. Now I gave them value, but I'm also presenting a need. The value that I gave you doesn't actually matter. You can't really use it unless you get on dates in the first place. And if you're not getting on at least 3 to 5 dates a week, which they're probably not with high quality women, then there's usually something about your online profiles that desperately needs fixing. So now I've given them another need. This is something that they didn't know that they needed, but now because I've just given them value, they're saying to themselves, okay, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. And now they're like, well, now he's saying that I need to revamp my online profiles. Well, to find out what's wrong with your profiles, click below to schedule a call with my team. This is essentially a sales call, and lots of companies are doing this for their high ticket coaching offers. The reason why is because when you present a sales call with value, you are hopping on the sales call and genuinely giving them value and tips and pointers, but you're also pointing them towards your high ticket program. Okay, this is a great way to get more people on sales calls, because if people feel like it's a sales call, they're not going to want to get on. But if people actually genuinely get value on the sales call, then you're going to book a lot more calls that way. And that is essentially how this email works. And guys, Base Zeus essentially runs a dating program where he has different coaches actually come in and fix your dating life. So you can bet that this program is at least $3,000 or more. So even if this email got, let's say, 10 people to book a call, 5 people who are actually qualified, and maybe 2 people who actually got into the program, what are we looking at? Maybe $6,000 or more just from this one email. Send one email every single day and just imagine how many people you could actually close and how much money you could generate just by your emails. And that is it for email number 1. And of course, we're going to be moving on to email number 2. And then of course, I'm going to be providing you the copywriting email template that you can steal to use on your copywriting clients. The second email is for a YouTube channel called Sean Cannell, or think media. They're basically a YouTube channel that teaches small YouTubers how to grow on YouTube. The target audience is men aged 16 to 30. Their behaviors: struggling with growing their YouTube channel, always wanted to grow their YouTube channel but can't, struggles to upload consistently, self-doubt and limiting beliefs, and also failing to get many views on each video. Their desires: 1,000 subscribers, making money from their hobby or passion, and quitting their job to do YouTube full time. So what are the commonalities between what's already written or the content that they already have? They do a lot of testimonial marketing, basically saying such and such has gotten this result before, and if you want to get a result similar, you should work with us. That's essentially what testimonial marketing is. Next is telling people how to go viral. That's the language that they often use. We'll show you how to go viral. These ones are listicle as well, meaning that they give lists of value. Next, they talk about 1,000 subs. That's a big milestone that people want. So they speak to that and saying, here's how to get 1,000 subs ASAP. Next is content hacks. They have a lot of videos and content that's talking about content hack. And then next, they mention a lot of popular YouTubers. So this is a great way to just, make content go viral in general. When you mention somebody who's famous, people care about the famous person, so they're going to watch more likely. So here are some angles that I came up with myself. Should you post quality or quantity? How to make your YouTube channel blow up overnight. 3 biggest YouTubers share their secrets. Create twice as much content in half the time, and 4 steps to get 1K subs by Christmas. So here's why each one of these angles might work. Quality or quantity, that's just a very, very commonly asked question about YouTube. And also there's a lot of YouTube videos with a title similar to that get a lot of views as well. So that is a proven topic already. Next up, we have how to make your channel blow up overnight. This essentially uses the commonly used language of the target audience. People often use the words like blew up as in went viral. The channel didn't literally blow up, obviously, but it figuratively blew up, and using the audience's language to speak to them is something that is very important to do as well. Next up, we have the 3 biggest YouTubers share their secrets. This is also just borrowing authority from whoever the 3 biggest YouTubers are. Remember how I said before, we want to give them actual reasons and supporting justifications as to what we're saying. So when we say, Mr. Beast and such and so forth actually said this, then it's going to make it much more believable, and people are going to get a lot more value from whatever you're saying. Next, create twice as much content in half of the time. This is essentially a content hack with a strong benefit. And then we have the 4 steps to get 1K subs by Christmas. So this one is listicle value. People love 3 keys to, or 4 steps to. 1K subs is a big milestone that people have. And then by Christmas is specific. I could say in the next 90 days, but what's more effective is if I said by Christmas, then it's more specific to people and people can imagine it more vividly because it's more specific to them. So this is the subject line or the angle that I'm actually going to be going for in this next email. Subject line: 4 steps to 1K subs by Christmas. Hey, first name. When growing a small YouTube channel, it can be pretty discouraging if you're not seeing a consistent growth. That's why in this email, we're going to share with you the 4 proven steps to joining the 1K subscribers club by Christmas. Number 1, cut the fluff to increase watch time. So when you're giving list value, this is essentially what it is. Number 1, and then you give your title or your reason, and then you give your supporting lines. In this email, I didn't go through and do every single line just because I don't want to be here all day reviewing the emails with you, because you're going to get the point when I go through this. So here's what the value might actually look like. One of the most important metrics is watch time with YouTubers. Why? Well, because YouTube makes more money the longer viewers are on their platform. So the longer you can keep people on your videos, the more YouTube will push your content in the algorithms. And the best way to make sure people stay on your YouTube video longer is to ask yourself, if I cut this part out, would the YouTube video still be just as valuable? If the answer is yes, then it's an easy sign your video should be condensed so it holds people for longer. And then point number 2, you can build that out. Point number 3, you could build that out if you'd like. And then point number 4, create a rock solid strategy. Far too many YouTubers who are just starting out have no other strategy other than just post videos. If that's you, let me give you the most game-changing advice you'll ever receive. Despite what it may look like, nobody's channel just blows up on accident. After coaching hundreds of YouTubers to cracking 1K, 10K, 100K, and even 1 million subs, I found the biggest factor that determines if they'll succeed or not. And that's a well thought out game plan. But as much as I'd love to show you how to come up with a game plan in this email that's quite a bit of simple strategy to explain. That's the exact reason why I built the full A to Z guide on growing your channel to 0 to 1K subs in 90 days or less. That sounds interesting to you? Click this link to get access to the 90-day 0 to 1K blueprint, Sean Cannell. Now, this 90-day blueprint, what have you, might be a low ticket offer, meaning it might be $37 or $97 or something like that. And while it may not be the highest revenue generating product or email that there is, the thing that it is doing is identifying buyers. And when you have a bunch of people who have already bought at $37 or $97, then it's a lot more likely that you'll get them to buy into your higher ticket programs. This Sean Cannell creator, I know that he actually has a high ticket program where he actually goes in with his coaches and shows you exactly how to build a YouTube channel and exactly what types of videos you should post and exactly how to monetize your channel. So this is a way where you can market more heavily to the people who have already bought from you before, and they are more likely to buy from you down the line. So while this email might not make a whole bunch of direct revenue, it is also going to make a whole bunch of indirect revenue by exposing people to the lower ticket products. So now let's break this email down line by line. When growing a small YouTube channel, it can be pretty discouraging if you're not seeing growth. This is basically just being relatable and then giving them a strong what's in it for me. If you've ever seen WIIFM, that is an acronym for what's in it for me. This is a common copywriting phrase that we use to signify answering the question of what is in it for the reader. People are selfish. Nobody wants to read an email for no reason or for fun or wants to read an email about you. They want to know what's in it for them. Okay, so answering that question early on in your email is crucial. And that's what I do here when I say, we're going to share with you the 4 proven steps to joining the 1K subscribers club by Christmas. And then here is basically a listicle value email where I just give them a list of points that are going to give them value. And this is why people actually open the emails and consume the emails and start opening them more often. It's because this email is essentially kind of like a YouTube video. You hop into it, you get some value out of it, and then maybe you go out and check out the product. So then we have the second point, the third point, and see what I do here in the fourth point. In the fourth point, I transition to painting what the reader actually needs to succeed. I give them a good justification as to why, and then over here, I add some authority. I add some authority by saying, I've helped hundreds of YouTubers crack 1K, 10K, 100K, and even 1 million subs. Again, you want to give them authority. You want to use authority so that people know that you're not just some random guy giving them trash information. And then down here, I give them the CTA to the exact blueprint, the exact full A to C guide on growing your channel from 0 to 1K subs in 90 days or less. And that is email number 2 down for someone who could be my $3,000 to $4,000 copywriting client. And now you guys, I will be sharing with you my email template that you can use to quickly create converting copy. So this is essentially created from the challenge, justify, and need email template. Now you can have this exact template. I can literally just send it over to you. Just send me a quick message on Instagram. My Instagram is @Tyson.scales. There's gonna be a link to that in the description. So after you watch this video, you can go there, DM me real quick, just ask for it, and I will send it over your way. Essentially, we're going to meet them with a challenging belief. So like I said in the beginning, a challenging belief that goes against the commonly held beliefs that they probably have. And then we're gonna justify it, okay? We're gonna give them irrefutable reasons as to why this new way is the correct way. And now that they know that this new way is the correct way, there's something that they need, and we are going to provide them with a solution to that need. And here's exactly how we're going to do it. So the subject line is essentially going to consist of a challenging common belief. And don't worry, because I'm going to be filling this out and showing you exactly how it would look like once it is filled out. Hey, first name. Oftentimes when people are, and then you fill in based on your audience, looking for their desired goal. We're going to be doing a weight loss example where people want to get a shredded 6-pack. So in that example, you would say, oftentimes when people are looking to get a shredded 6-pack, that's how you would fill it in, they end up thinking, and then whatever the commonly held belief is. But in reality, this is the biggest thing holding them back. And once I realized the new way of thinking, I was able to get the result. See, most people feel like, and then this is where you go into their pain state and also describe their roadblocks. And you want to be very, very specific with this, because a cardinal rule of copywriting is when you can describe someone's pain and someone's situation better than they can themselves, then they will be looking to you as the expert who has the solution. And then when we give them the solution, which is our product, they will buy, we'll make money. And that is essentially the basis of good copywriting in and of itself. See, the most people feel like pain plus roadblocks. And then you want to give them some very unique pain points like I just stated. But believe it or not, the old belief is actually hurting you more than helping you. Because in reality, and then this is where you give the justification as to why the old way is inferior. And then you want to give them justification as to why the new way is superior. And that's exactly why I created, and then you can give them your need, whether it is a course or a program or a freebie. And then you'd say, you don't have to deal with roadblocks anymore, whatever that audience's roadblocks are. It works by, and then this is where you give them an intriguing explanation. You don't want to just give them, oh, well, this product is just the best. It's going to help you do X, Y, Z. That way you're just telling them stuff. When you give them an intriguing actual explanation, you're not telling them, you're showing them. We want to show more than we tell in these emails. If you want access, click here to, and then you'd give the dream state without roadblock. While that might have made somewhat sense to you, you'll get a much better grasp of what I'm saying as I actually lay it out in this next email that I've created. So here's why it works. It gets their attention with the challenging belief. It gives them value as well with the justification and shifting their mindset. It enters the conversation in their head by being very specific to their specific pain points. It makes them want your CTA before you actually give it to them. Okay, so it makes them want your product and basically ask for your product before you even tell them that it exists. Then we're going to show them why you are convinced. A big rule of copy is instead of sitting there trying to convince people, being like, this is the best thing ever, you're going to love it. Once you get this, you'll reach your results. Instead of doing that, we want to show them why we're convinced. I used to think of it this way too, but then I was enlightened. I found this new way that I want to show you, and this is why it works. Because when you do this, essentially, people will be much more convinced when you tell them how convinced you are. If you try to convince people, there's going to be a lot of friction there. You're not going to like that because you're going to be essentially telling people how to feel and how to think, and it's going to cause a lot of friction, and people are not going to take kindly to that. So here's my example of the template actually filled out. Subject line, your six-pack is only 15 pounds away. Hey, first name, oftentimes when people want to get their abs to show, they end up feeling like they have to go to extreme lengths to get the shredded look they want. But in reality, this is the biggest thing holding them back. And once I stopped believing that a six-pack was impossibly difficult to get, I was able to go from love handles to having a clearly visible six-pack. See, most people feel like they have to starve themselves, do 100 crunches a day, and regularly run mini marathons just to get some definition in their abs. But believe it or not, you're probably only 15 pounds away from having your abs show. Because in reality, the picture below is what only 5 pounds of fat looks like. And as you can see, look, 5 pounds is a lot. So if you lost 3 pounds of that around your whole body, you could definitely picture, okay, my abs would be starting to show after that. And when I realized just how much 15 pounds of fat actually is, it motivated me like nothing else. Because instead of feeling impossibly far from my goals, I realized I was so much closer to having a six-pack than I thought. And that's exactly why I created the 15 pounds fat burning fast track. You don't have to deal with restrictive diets, intense workouts, or excessive cardio. It works by incorporating small daily cheat meals so that you can still lose weight, yet enjoy the foods you love every day. If you want access, click here to melt off 15 pounds of fat. No diets, no cardio, no BS. And then you sign off. Okay, so why does this work so much? So if we go up to the top, oftentimes people, when they want their abs to show, they feel like they have to go to extreme lengths to get that shredded look that they want. Again, this is me being relatable with them. A lot of people will feel that. But in reality, that's the biggest thing holding them back. Once I stopped believing that a six-pack was impossibly difficult to get, I went from love handles to having a clearly visible six-pack. This is basically me telling them why I'm convinced. Because I used to think like you, now I think like me, and then I got the result. Instead of saying, if you think like me, you'll get the result. There's a small little difference there, but it makes all the difference when it comes to your result. See, most people feel like they have to starve themselves, do 100 crunches a day, and regularly run mini marathons just to get some definition in their abs. This is me getting super relatable with the problem. Super relatable with their roadblocks, and also even hyperbolizing a little bit, exaggerating just a small bit when I say things like, regularly run mini marathons. It kind of adds a little bit of tongue in cheek to it. So, people feel like they have to be on these super restrictive diets, do super hard workouts every day, and also train really hard and do a bunch of calorie burning exercises. And in reality, that is not the case, and I'm offering them an alternative. Because believe it or not, you're only 15 pounds away from having your abs show. And this right here is my justification. This is the reasoning. This is where I'm literally, with a picture, showing instead of telling, which is extremely important. When I realized that how much 15 pounds of fat actually is, it motivated me like nothing else, because instead of feeling possibly far from my goals, I realized I was so much closer to having a six-pack than I thought. And that's exactly why I created the 15 pounds fat burning fast track. This is where you present the need. So this is essentially where you make them need it. You describe how they need to lose 15 pounds if they want to get to their goal. And if you want to lose 15 pounds in the fastest amount of time, I have the 15-pound fat burning fast track. You don't have to deal with restrictive diets, intensive workouts, or excessive cardio. Okay, so again, going deep into the pain state, saying that you don't have to deal with these roadblocks. It works by, and then this is where I'm actually adding simple little bits of legitimacy to what I'm saying. It works by incorporating small daily cheat meals so that you can still lose weight yet enjoy the foods that you love every day. So instead of cutting out cheat meals altogether or only have like one cheat meal a day, you get these cheat meals every single day, but the only catch is that they're just a little bit smaller. So it doesn't even feel like you're on a diet. That's the angle that we're going for. If you want access, click here to melt off 15 pounds of fat, no diets, no cardio, no BS, and then you're signed off. Anyways, guys, like I said, if you want that template, all you gotta do is DM me on Instagram at tyson.scales. Make sure after this video, you go click on the free courses that are on screen now. And of course, that's it for today, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.